At my daughter's wedding, her groom laughed at me, called me pathetic, and bragged about his wealth. 2 weeks later, he vanished from every record, every job, every account, erased like he never existed. My name is Henry Cole. I was 68 then. I had worked with my hands most of my life. I built stairs and doors and small houses. I knew what lasts and what fails. I was a widower, a father, and a grandfather. I believed in quiet work and clean lines. I loved my daughter, Anna. I raised her to tell the truth and to finish what she started. I still kept the first drawing she taped to our fridge. I still kept the list of chores she wrote when she was 7, with every box checked. I thought I knew how to keep a home steady. The groom took the microphone like it belonged to him. He had that bright smile that never reached his eyes. He tapped his watch with one knuckle, as if time itself should clap. The room went soft. The music lowered. Everyone turned toward him. "To the man who tried his best," he said. He looked right at me. Pathetic, but he tried. Laughter came fast, cheap and warm. He slung an arm around my daughter and kissed her cheek like she was a prize from a game. "Do not worry," he said. "She is in good hands now. I will take care of her. I have the means." He lifted his glass high. To wealth. To new beginnings I stood with my own glass and felt the first crack run through the night. I watched my daughter smile because the cameras were pointed at her. Her eyes flicked to me. I smiled back. My face felt stiff. I thought of her mother. I thought of all the mornings we packed lunches and the nights we fixed the sink and folded laundry on the couch. I thought of the small things that keep love alive. He kept going. He said his team was closing a deal that would make last year's bonus look like spare change. He said he bought the watch to mark the month he stepped up. People laughed again. A friend clapped him on the back. He made a show of checking the time and shaking his head. He told a joke about old men and dead money. He did not need to say my name. Everyone knew. I lifted my glass and drank. The wine was too sweet. My palms were dry. I had the urge to leave for air. I stayed. My grandson tugged at my sleeve and whispered, "Grandpa, can we get another roll?" I nodded and walked with him to the buffet. I put butter on the roll and set it on a small plate. I felt my heart beating hard and slow, like it had a mind of its own. When I looked back, the groom was kissing my daughter again and lifting the mic for one last line. "Wealth looks good on us," he said, and flashed that watch at the lights. The room cheered. He had the room, and he knew it. I took my grandson back to his mother and set the small plate by her hand. The band switched from jazz to something louder. The dance floor filled. I walked toward the kitchen door because it was quieter there. I needed a place without his voice. His mother met me at the threshold. She wore a pale dress and a smile that never moved her eyes. She stepped right into my path and rested her fingers on my sleeve like we were old friends. "Be generous tonight," she said. "This is a union." Families join. Houses join. It is time to put your home behind them. Sign it, Henry. Make a statement. I looked at her hand until she moved it. Then I looked at her face. "My house is not a statement," I said. "It is a roof." She did not blink. "Do not be difficult. You are alone now. He is the future. This is how we do things." Her husband joined her. He had the same fixed smile. "You will donate the house," he said. "It makes sense. We can get it recorded on Monday. You owe it to your daughter." "I owe her safety," I said. "I owe her a place to come home to." He leaned in. I smelled his cologne and the sharp edge of his drink. "You do not want to embarrass us." "This is a classy wedding." I held my glass. I felt the cool of it. I thought about what it takes to keep a house standing. I thought about how long it took to make a small yard green. I could hear pots clanging in the kitchen and someone laughing in the hallway. I did not raise my voice. I did not give them a speech. I did not explain my bank account or my plans or my fears. I set my glass on a tray by the wall. I nodded once, the way you nod to a stranger who has told you something he thinks is a fact. Then I stepped around them and kept walking. I did not look back. They did not follow me into the kitchen. They stayed in the doorway, watching. The room behind them swelled and brightened and then seemed far away. I found a corner with a fan and let it blow on my face. The night leaned on me, heavy and close. I took out the wedding program and folded it in half. I slid it into my inside pocket and let my hand rest there. I could feel their eyes on my back even from across the room. The pressure found me and sat down. I left before the sparklers. I had stayed for the cake and the first dance and the photos. I kissed my daughter on the cheek and told her I loved her. She pressed her hand to my sleeve and said, "I know." Her fingers were cold. The groom was talking to someone with his arm up and his watch catching the light. The drive was quiet. The road was mostly empty. I rolled the window down and let the night air in. The taste of sugar and wine fell away. I went slow through our old neighborhood. The porch lights were a string of small moons. I passed the grocery where we bought school snacks and the park where I taught her to ride a bike. I tried to shake off the sound of his laugh. It stuck. At home, I hung my jacket on the chair by the door. The house held its own kind of silence. Not empty, just steady. I turned on the lamp in the kitchen and set the wedding program on the table. The paper was smooth and thick. Their names were printed in gold. I traced the letters with one finger, then let my hand fall. I took out the groom's business card. He had pressed it into my palm during the reception and said, "Call me if you ever want tickets or a table." The card was heavy and black. The company name sat in silver. The phone number was his. He had written it himself with a thin pen that made the numbers neat and bright. I laid the card next to the program. 2 small rectangles that tried to make a future out of ink. I made coffee and sat in the quiet. I pictured my daughter as a child, loose hair, wide smile, running across the yard. I pictured her at the altar, the way her eyes flicked toward me when the groom spoke. I thought about what happens when you let someone like him decide how your family should live. I thought about the mother at the kitchen door, and the way she spoke like I was a piece on her board. I am not a loud man. I do not like scenes. I like fixed hinges, clean edges, payments made on time, and a house that does not surprise you. I knew this was no longer a wedding night to remember. It was a warning. It was a line. I sat there and breathed in and out. The coffee steamed. The clock ticked. I set my hands flat on the table. I felt something shift inside me. Not anger. Not yet. Just the part of me that builds and keeps and does not back down when a door sticks. I looked at the card. I looked at the program. I breathed once and felt the line harden. My daughter came by the next afternoon. She said she needed to pick up a box from the garage. Flowers were still in the back seat of her car. Her hair was pinned up. She wore a pale dress again, not the wedding one, but close. She stood by the porch steps with her keys in her hand. The sun was high and flat. The grass had that sweet smell it gets when it is cut the day before. "Dad, do not start," she said, before I had spoken a word. "Please." "I am not starting," I said. "I am steady." "That is different." She looked at the yard. She looked at the porch swing. Her throat worked. "It was a joke," she said. "You know how he is." He was nervous. He wanted to make people laugh. "He called me pathetic," I said. "He wanted people to see him shine." "He will take care of me," she said. "He knows people. He is already planning a house. He says we can flip your place, buy 2 others, and—" I held up my hand. "My house is not a chip on his table." She flinched. "This is why I said do not start." "I am not starting." I kept my voice even. But I will not fund a man who thinks respect is optional. I will not sign my home to anyone. Not him. Not you. Not now. She went quiet. I saw the child and the bride in the same face. I saw her trying to balance love against pride. She took a breath that sounded tight. You never liked him, she said. Since the first dinner. You made up your mind. I watched him, I said. He likes the image of love. He does not like the work of it. She stared at me like I had struck her. You cannot say that. You do not know him. You are alone. You do not understand how hard it is to build something now. I nodded. I know how to build something. I know how to keep it. I know how to carry weight without throwing it at people. She shook her head. She looked toward the street, toward the life she believed she was walking into. Do not do this, she said. Do not make me choose. You do not have to choose today, I said. But hear me. My house stays mine. My door stays mine. You can come home any time. He cannot cross my gate. She took a step back. Her face closed down. She pressed her lips together the way her mother used to when she was hurt and did not want to show it. She nodded once, as if agreeing to a thing she would refuse tomorrow. Fine, she said. I have to go. She turned, walked to her car, and did not look back. I sat on the back steps after she drove away. The yard was still. The porch boards I had sanded by hand felt solid under me. I kept seeing her face when I said the door stayed mine. It hurt. It also told me I was right. I walked the rooms. I touched the table where we ate soup on hard days. I touched the frame with my wife's photo. I opened the hall closet and held the coat my daughter wore to middle school plays. These were our pieces. They were not chips on anyone's table. A house is not just wood. It is promises kept. I had kept them. I could keep one more. I brewed tea and waited for the water to sing. I thought of my grandson at the buffet, whispering about a roll. He needed to see what respect looks like. He needed to see a door that opens for love and shuts on arrogance. That is a legacy. Not a watch, not a speech. I told myself the truth. I had let a smooth talker stand too close to my family. I had hoped it would pass. It would not pass. It would grow until it took the roof. So I made a quiet decision. I would not shout. I would not beg. I would pull on what was true, show it in the open, and set my line in the ground. I would restore my family and its name. I would start tomorrow, and I won't stop until it's finished. You won't believe how far I'm about to go. But before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. I woke early and fixed toast I did not eat. The wedding program still sat on the table. The business card lay beside it, black and heavy, the numbers neat and bright. I stared at that card until the coffee went cold. I called the number. A woman answered with a company name I had never heard. It was not the one he bragged about at the mic. I kept my voice even. I asked for him by name. She said she had worked there 4 years and had never heard that name. I thanked her and hung up. I wrote down the time and the name she said. I needed someone who could look at this without the heat I felt. Someone who would tell me if I was imagining things. I drove to a small diner off the highway where I used to meet my friend Cal Turner for coffee. Cal and I had framed porches together when we were young. Later, he worked as a city inspector, then for a small investigations office. He knew where stories snagged. He slid into the booth and listened while I told him about the toast, the watch, the kitchen door, and the phone call. He did not interrupt. He drank his coffee and watched me the way you watch a beam settle. "Let me see the card," he said. He turned it in his hands and nodded toward a small typo in the address. "They do not hire printers who make this kind of mistake," he said. He looked up the number on his own phone, turned the screen, and showed me the company site. The brand was clean. The names on the Our Team page did not include my new son-in-law. "Sometimes a card is a mask," Cal said. "Sometimes it is a mirror." I felt a small click inside, like a latch setting. I had not been crazy. The brag had not been a joke. It had been a pose. Cal scrolled through the groom's public photos and stopped at one on a balcony. It was a smug shot, city behind him, sunglasses on, drink in hand. On the street below, half hidden, a for rent sign hung crooked. It had a number in thick black paint. Cal smiled without warmth. "Details tell the truth," he said. He zoomed in until the numbers were clear. "You mind if we call?" I shook my head. I wrote the number in my old pocket notebook anyway. The paper felt solid under the pen. I did not rush. I wanted my hand to remember this line. Cal pressed the call button. The phone rang and rang. "Leave a message," a tired voice said at last. Cal hung up and looked at me. "We will try again," he said. Men like him often leave the same mess in different places. I folded the business card back into my wallet. I slid the wedding program under a coaster. I felt the day lean in my direction for the first time since the toast. As we stood to go, Cal put his hand on my shoulder. "This is a mask," he said. "We will find the face behind it." I nodded. On the way out, my phone buzzed. The unknown number from the sign was calling back. I stepped outside to take the call where the diner noise would not drown it. The voice was a man's, steady but worn down at the edges. "You called about the balcony photo," he said. "You asked if I knew that man." "I did," I said. "I am trying to understand who he is." "I owned that unit for 7 years," he said. "He signed a lease. He paid 2 months. Then he broke things and left. No apology, no forwarding address. He left me holding a mess and a month of complaints." My throat tightened. I did not want to hear it. I needed to hear it. "Could you put that in writing?" I asked. "Even one line with the dates?" He sighed. "I keep notes," he said. "Landlords do, if they learn fast." A pause. "Text me your number." I will send a line with the dates and the name he used with me. I will also leave you a voicemail so you can play it for whomever needs to hear. I texted my number and thanked him. When I walked back in, Cal read my face. "Real?" he asked. "Real," I said. We drove back to my place. I needed my table, my lamp, my own quiet. On the way, the voicemail arrived. I did not play it in the truck. I wanted my house around me when I heard it. At home, I set the phone on the kitchen table, next to the program and the card. I pressed play. The man's voice filled the room, low and clear. "This is Ed Wilcox," he said. "I owned the unit at 322 Harbor from 2017 to 2024. The tenant known to me as Daniel Reeves moved in on June 1st. He stopped paying in August. He left damage and did not return calls. He left a debt." Silence followed. Then the text came through. One line, like he had promised. "Tenant Daniel Reeves, June 1st to August 28th. Left with damage. E.W." I stared at the words. My hands shook once and stopped. Cal leaned forward, elbows on his knees, eyes on the screen. "Names change," he said quietly. "Behavior does not." I felt heat rise in my chest. Not wild anger. Purpose. I thought of my daughter's face in the yard. I thought of the groom's laugh at the mic. I thought of my grandson's whisper about a role. I thought of what a house needs to stand. My phone buzzed again. A message from my daughter. "You are making trouble. Please stop." I did not answer right away. I called Cal's number and saved it under Cal. Steady. I saved Ed's under Harbor. I took the business card and the program and slid them into a manila folder from the hall desk. I wrote one word on the tab. Sunday. Cal looked at the folder and then at me. "What is Sunday?" he asked. "Family dinner," I said. "Everyone sits." Everyone hears Cal nodded once. "I will be here," he said, "but you will not need me to speak." I picked up the phone and texted my daughter 3 words. Dinner. Sunday, 6. Her typing dots flickered, then stopped. Outside, a car door shut, soft, then another. Tires crunched on gravel. My porch light was off, but I knew the sound. My daughter was home. She came in without knocking. She always had that right. She went straight to the table and looked at the folder like it might burn her. "I asked you to stop," she said. I kept my hands still. "Sit," I said. She sat, back straight, jaw set. I opened the folder and took out the card, the photo print Cal had made at the pharmacy on the way, and my phone. "I made one call," I said. I listened. I did not hunt. I did not pry. I looked at what was in plain sight. Her eyes flashed. "He is building us a future." "You never did." The words hit me clean and hard. I let them sit there. I did not reach for a speech. I turned the phone and pressed play. My daughter stared at the phone like it might bite. The message ended. The house went quiet. Even the heater seemed to hold its breath. I slid the text across. She read the one line. Her hand trembled. She set the phone down and looked at me, and for a second I saw my little girl when she would get caught in a lie about a homework sheet. Shame, fear, hope that it would pass. "He said you are jealous," she whispered. "He said you are trying to keep me small. He said you do not understand how big our plans are." I kept my voice level. A plan that needs lies is not a plan. It is a hole. Tears filled her eyes. She wiped them away with the back of her hand. "What if you are wrong?" she asked. "What if this is old? What if he changed?" I did not say he had not. I did not say men change in their promises before they change in their habits. I tapped the table, just once. "Dinner," I said. "Sunday, 6. Bring him. Bring them. I will put this on the table. No yelling, no scenes. Just what is true." She shook her head like she could shake the whole day off. She stood. "You are forcing me," she said. "You always force." "I am setting a line," I said. "It will not move." She looked toward the door. She took a step. She stopped. She looked back at the folder, at the card, at my hands. She took a breath that shook her shoulders. Then she left without a word. I watched her car lights slide away from the window, red and then gone. My phone buzzed. A new message came from an unknown number. "He is using the name Dale Reed now." The sender ID said, "Neighbor, Harbor." I stared at the screen. The circle was wider than I thought. Sunday could not come fast enough. I cooked too much food. It was a habit I never broke. Chicken, potatoes, green beans with a little bacon. I set plates and forks and napkins in even stacks. I wiped the table twice, though it was already clean. The wedding program sat on the shelf, gold letters catching the light. The manila folder lay in the center of the table, closed. They came at 6. My daughter first, face pale, eyes rimmed red. The groom came next in a blue suit, no tie, watch glinting. His parents followed, their smiles already tight. Cal sat on the porch with a newspaper and a thermos. He did not come in. He nodded to me once. That was all. We sat. I said grace, short and plain. We passed plates. The groom took the biggest piece of chicken and winked at my daughter. My stomach turned. When the plates were full, I opened the folder. I placed the business card by the salt. I set the photo beside it. I put my phone between us all. "I have 3 simple things," I said. A card with a wrong company. A photo with a number. A message from a man who owned a place you left in pieces. The groom laughed through his nose. "We doing story time, old man?" His mother smiled hard. "Henry, this is not necessary." I pressed play. "This is Ed Wilcox," the voice said. "Unit at 322 Harbor. Tenant known to me as Daniel Reeves. Left with damage." The room pulled in. No one moved. The groom's smile held for a beat too long, then slipped a fraction. He reached for his water. His father stared at the photo. My daughter stared at her plate. I kept my voice even. No money from me. No key to my house. Not now, not ever. The groom set his glass down and leaned back like a man at the end of a joke. He tapped his watch. You think you can block me? He said. You have no idea who I know. I looked at my daughter. I spoke to her, not to him. You can always come home, I said. You are mine. He is not. Her breath hitched. She closed her eyes for a second. When she opened them, she did not look at the groom. He pushed his chair back. The legs scraped hard. You want a war? We can do a war, he said low. I folded the folder shut. This is not a war, I said. It is a door. He stared at me like he could make me blink first. He could not. The room stayed very still. Outside on the porch, a chair creaked. Cal shifted his weight. The groom looked from me to the phone and back again. For the first time since the wedding, he did not look sure. He reached for the card with his name on it and turned it over with his fingertip. He saw the typo. He saw the thin line of his own carelessness. He knew the game had changed. I swept the porch at sunrise. It was a habit I kept when my head was loud. The broom made a soft sound on the boards I had sanded by hand. The wedding program still sat on the living room shelf, gold letters catching light. The manila folder lay on the table where I left it after dinner. Cal pulled up and set a thermos on the railing. Coffee, he said. We sat without talking for a while. The air was cool. Birds worked the fence line. My phone buzzed on the table beside us. I looked down. The groom's big talk page was gone. The photos were gone. The jokes under our names were gone. A blank where a man had tried to build a mirror. I called the number on the heavy black card. It rang twice and folded into a dead tone. I listened to it end and set the phone down. Cal checked his screen. Without a spotlight, some men wilt, he said. A message popped up from one of Anna's friends. She worked in the same building as the groom. They sent him home, it read. People are asking questions. I thought about the dinner table the night before. The voicemail playing in my kitchen. The way my daughter stared at her plate instead of at him. I thought about the moment he touched the business card and saw his own mistake. Sometimes a man's first real fear is the truth landing in the same room as his name. I tried calling my daughter. It rang until her mailbox caught it. I did not leave a message. I had already said what mattered. I had said it plain. Cal poured us both coffee. It tasted strong and dark. He kept his eyes on the street, the way an old inspector would watch a building settle. Let it breathe, he said. He will make his next move. We will make ours. I nodded. I did not want fuss. I wanted steadiness. I wanted the day to move on its own feet, not his. An SUV turned onto my street and crawled past the mailbox. It was clean and new, with a dealer plate still bolted on. It stopped at my gate and stayed there, engine ticking. The front doors opened in the same moment. His parents stepped out, perfect smiles, perfect clothes, eyes set like they were walking into a photo. They did not look up at me. They walked to my gate with their chins high, as if they could charm a fence. They are here, Cal said. They did not wait to be invited. They stood at my gate and pressed the call button with quick fingers again and again. I walked down the steps and stopped 2 paces from the latch. Cal stayed on the porch, quiet. The thermos sat where he left it, lid off, steam soft in the air. You are ruining our family's plans, his mother said. Do you know how hard he works? Do you know what doors you are closing by acting like this? This is my door, I said. It closes when I say. Her husband leaned in. His smile was the kind that never changed no matter what he said. Stop this, Henry. You embarrassed us last night. You will fix it. You will apologize. You will give them a head start. It is what decent fathers do. I felt the old anger lift its head and then lie back down. I kept my voice level. A decent father protects his daughter, I said. That is what I am doing now. She tried a different tone. You are alone. You cannot carry this house forever. Let the young take the load. It will be good for everyone. My house is not a load, I said. It is a promise. You do not speak for it. They both stared at me like I had failed a test they wrote. The groom's mother reached for the latch. I moved my hand to it first and closed it with a click she could hear. I did not raise my voice. I did not repeat myself. The gate sat between us, simple and clear. Tell him this, I said. He will not cross this gate. Not today. Not ever. Her eyes hardened. You will regret this. I looked at her. Not one bit. She stepped back. He took her arm. They returned to the SUV without another word. The door shut with a sound that tried to be final. The engine turned over and carried them away, slow and smooth, like a boat that had missed the dock. I lifted the latch again, checked it, and let it fall into place. Cal came down 2 steps and stood beside me. He did not need to say anything. He looked at the gate, then at my hands. My phone buzzed. It was my daughter. The screen showed her name. The sound was too loud in the quiet yard. I answered. Her voice was small and tight. He says you ruined his life, she said. He says you do not love me. What do you believe? I asked. Silence. Then a short breath. I do not know, she said. I want to. I am trying. Come by, I said. We will sit. We will look. We will breathe. I cannot, she said, and hung up. I stood there with the dial tone in my ear and the gate under my hand. Cal watched the empty street. Somewhere down the block, a car turned and started up my way. He came alone this time. No parents. No loud entrance. He walked up to the gate with a bouquet from the fancy shop, white paper around the stems, bow-tied neat. He wore a blue suit and no tie. His watch flashed once and then slid under his sleeve. Let us reset, he said. No need to drag this out. I did not smile. I did not open the gate. He held the flowers up like a flag. For Anna, he said. You can give them to her. You know how proud she is. We can forget last night. You can wire the down payment to the account I gave her. We will move fast. It will be cleaner for everyone. I watched his face while he said it. There was not a mark of doubt, only speed, only control. I thought of my daughter at the table, mouth set, eyes red. I thought of the man on the voicemail naming another name. You want me to buy your silence, I said. He blinked once. I want you to be smart. I took the business card from my pocket. The black surface was scuffed now at the corners. I held it up where he could see it through the bars. The name on this is not the name in that call, I said. The number on this goes nowhere. The face on this is staged. There is nothing here to buy. His smile tightened. You think anyone cares about some landlord with a grudge, he said. I care about results. I will get them with you or without you. With me, I said, is done. His jaw shifted. He glanced past me toward the porch, saw Cal's steady shape, and looked back. You are old, he said softly, like a knife laid on a table. You are alone. Don't make mistakes that last. I slid the card back into my pocket. I am not alone, I said, and this is not a mistake. We stood like that for a few breaths. The flowers hung between us like an excuse. He set them on the post with care he did not feel and stepped away. You will call, he said. You will change your mind. No, I said. He turned and walked to his car. He did not look back. I stayed by the gate until the sound of his engine thinned out and was gone. Cal joined me. We stood in the quiet. My phone buzzed again. Anna had sent a screenshot. The subject line read, "No record under that name." The body was 6 words, plain and hard. "We do not show him here." Her second message followed, only 3 words. "We need to talk." Anna came at dusk. She had a scarf tied around her neck, though the day was warm. She stepped through the gate, eyes on the ground, and climbed the porch steps. Cal nodded to her and went inside, giving us the porch. She handed me her phone. "Read it," she said. I did. The email was short and clean. A simple denial. No drama. No extra words. The kind of message you could not argue with because it did not try to argue. She sat on the top step and folded her hands in her lap. I sat beside her and waited. "I asked him," she said. "He said the registrar must be confused." He laughed. Then he tried to take my phone. He said he would fix it. "What did you do?" "I kept my phone," she said. Her mouth shook. She pulled in a breath and let it out slow. "I am embarrassed. I am angry. I do not know which one first. Both can live," I said. She rubbed her eyes with the heel of her hand. "He told me to get money from you. He told me to hurry. He said we are losing time." "You are not," I said. "Time is on your side." She looked at me then. Really looked. Not past me or through me. At me. "What do I do now?" "Pack a bag," I said. "Come home. We will make tea. We will sleep. In the morning we will call who needs calling. But tonight you come home." She stared at the yard like she was measuring it. "He will come here," she said. "He will find the gate locked," I said. I stood and went inside. I took the key with her name from the hook by the door. It had hung there for years. I put it in her hand. Her fingers closed around it. A small sound came out of her, not quite a sob. She leaned her head against my shoulder the way she did when she was little and storms woke her. We sat like that until the porch light came on by itself. Cal stepped out and set 2 cups of tea by our feet. He did not say a word. He went back inside and left us with the sound of the street settling for the night. My phone vibrated. A new message from a blocked number blinked onto the screen. "I'm coming over now," it read. Headlights slowed at the corner. The engine cut. The night held its breath. Headlights washed across the porch and went dark. The gate latch clicked once under a testing hand. Cal stood inside the door, phone in his palm, steady. Anna was in the hall, her bag by her feet, the house key I gave her looped on one finger. I flicked on the porch light and stepped out. He was at the gate in that blue suit, no tie, hair too neat for the hour. His smile was back, tight around the edges. "Open up," he said. "We will fix this tonight." "No," I said. He set one hand on the top rail and leaned in. "You do not want this scene on your quiet street. Be smart. Call her out. We talk, we move, we end the drama." Across the way, Mrs. Alvarez turned on her porch light. She didn't step out, but she was there. Cal opened the screen door and stayed behind it, the porch bulb bright on his shoulder. "You are done here," I said. "You will not see my daughter again." He laughed under his breath. "You keep saying that like it matters." I took the black card from my pocket and held it up so he could see it in the light. I set my phone on the railing and pressed play. Ed's voice came soft through the night. "This is Ed Wilcox. Unit at 322 Harbor. Tenant known to me as Daniel Reeves." The groom flinched like the name hit bone. His jaw bunched. He reached for the latch. I put my hand over it, and he stopped. Not because he wanted to, but because the moment had turned and he knew it. "You're scared of me," he said. His voice dropped lower. "You're old." "You can't hold this line. I can," I said. He glanced past me. Anna stood in the hall, just visible through the glass. He lifted his chin, playing the old part again. "Anna, baby, come outside." She didn't move. Her voice carried through the door, clear and small. "Do not call me that." He blinked, once, like the floor shifted. "I love you," he said, fast, like a script he knew worked. "He is poisoning you." "I heard the message," she said. "Give me my ring back." The night held very still. He looked at me, then at Cal, then back at the house. He took the ring off and slipped it into his pocket instead of to the gate. "You will regret this," he said. "No," I said. He stared another beat. Behind him, Mrs. Alvarez's light stayed on. Cal took one step onto the porch. The steady shape of him changed the air. The groom backed up, slow, like he had meant to leave anyway. He turned to the car without another word and drove off without lights for the first 30 feet, then snapped them on and was gone. Inside, Anna sat on the bottom stair and pressed her palms to her eyes. I locked the door and slid the chain. Cal set the phone on the table. The house was quiet again, but it was a new kind of quiet. Not waiting. Holding. We did not sleep much. Before dawn, we drove to her apartment in Cal's old truck. She had the spare key. We went up the back stairs so we would not have to use the elevator with the mirrored walls. The hallway smelled like old carpet cleaner. She unlocked the door and paused. "Take what matters," I said. "Leave the rest." We moved fast and plain. Clothes, shoes, the little plant that leaned toward the kitchen window, a box of cards from her students, a framed picture of her mother and her at the lake, heads tipped together, hair caught in wind. She slid off the ring and left it on the counter without ceremony. It clicked on the granite, a small sound that felt bigger than it was. Cal carried boxes to the truck and never asked what was inside. He kept his body between us and the stairwell like it was nothing at all. We took 2 trips. On the last one, Anna stood in the doorway and looked at the rooms like she was seeing a set after the last show. She reached for the light switch, then dropped her hand. "Done," she said. She locked the door and slid the key under it. We walked down. Back home, we put her things in the spare room. She hung the lake picture above the dresser and stood back. Her mouth softened a little. I made soup. We ate it at the kitchen table, both of us too tired for talk. She took the spare key with her name and hung it on the hook by the door herself. It settled there like it had been waiting. Her phone pinged. 1 message from him, then 3, then none. She blocked the number. She opened her laptop and changed her last name on the places it mattered most to her. She deleted the photos that did not tell the truth. She kept one from the day before the wedding when we were both laughing in the driveway at Cal's truck refusing to start. She set that as her screen. Afternoon settled on the porch boards. Cal scraped a rough spot on the railing and handed me the sandpaper. We worked in easy silence while Anna napped in the next room. The wedding program stayed on the shelf, but I turned it face down. Not to pretend it did not happen. To stop it from shining where it did not belong. Neighbors waved when they passed. No one asked questions. The light on Mrs. Alvarez's porch clicked on at dusk and off again. The house felt like itself, with something missing and something returned. 2 weeks later, his pages were still gone. His number stayed dead. A friend of a friend said he left town. No one knew what name he used. The quiet that followed him felt like a door closing on its own. We were not who we had been, but the gate was ours. The line held. Sunday dinner returned to the table, simple and warm. Anna laughed a little more each week. My grandson chased the cat in the yard and learned how to sweep the porch the way I do, slow and true. The house was steady. It held. And most importantly, it was ours. If your child begged you to believe a liar in the name of love, would you bend or hold the line? Have I done everything right? Share your thoughts in the comment section.
My grandpa's words really happened. I believe him. If you want more true tales stories like this, hit subscribe.